Back on the Black Condor this morning, by the way.
Did you end up trying the Nicaragua?
Yep. So very similar to the what was the other one?
That was from Thailand.
Yeah, like I felt like it was very similar.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I
Okay.
kind of couldn't notice the difference between the two.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Now, is that I don't know, is that indifferent? Like, is that not what you wanted to hear?
No, I'm always interested in hearing just what everybody thinks. The one from Thailand was the wash process, and then the one from Nicaragua is a natural. So that one should have been a little more fruitier, a little more chocolatier, a little more richer. The one from Thailand, I felt like it was just a lot cleaner, like a cleaner cup of coffee. But everybody's different.
Everybody's different. Yeah. Apologies, mate, but yeah,
No.
they're both like different to the Black Condor that we've been smashing for like probably close to 2 months now, just like on Black Condor. So I noticed the difference from the Black Condor. And it's funny because you wonder whether or not like our palates get used to what we give it most days, to then all of a sudden I gave it two different tastes, like two different coffees on two consecutive days. So it was kind of just like telling me it was just different. not necessarily like why or what. It was just like, oh no, this isn't Black Condor, but it's still smooth. It's still, yeah, if that makes sense.
Do you guys have an espresso machine over there?
No, not yet.
Okay.
No.
Yeah, when you get an espresso machine, then we're gonna get you set up with even some more stuff to try out.
Yeah.
This new Ethiopian Yirgacheffe that I got, it's another washed, and I roasted it a few days ago, and I made some espresso with it today, and it is honestly, in my opinion, the best shot of espresso that I've ever had. I'm not saying
really?
Yeah. It really is. And even my wife, I had her try it, and she was pretty shocked by it too. I'm not saying it's the best in the, what's that?
Like why? Why do you think it's the best?
So when I drink espresso, the worst thing is when you almost don't even want to swallow it. Like the first taste, it's real ashy, real roasty, real almost, in my opinion, just tastes like you poured water out of an ashtray, and you don't really get like any of the citrus out of it. You don't really get any of just that. I don't know, just the way that I explain it is just you get hit with one taste up front, and then there's a middle one, and then there's an end, and then it dissipates, and then once you want to drink more, instead of like, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna finish this just because I want to get some caffeine or whatever. You're not really enjoying the actual drink, and so that's a big thing. That's a big thing for me to articulate the taste and try to explain. It's kind of like what we were talking about with the different fruits and all of that, like trying to pull those out and distinguish between the different notes and how that goes. It's just a little bit different. So I just try to keep it as simple as possible when trying to explain it to people. And I roast coffee for people that speak my language, I guess, and we can communicate, and we just know what we're looking for. We know what we like, and just go from there. So it's
I totally understand that ashy flavor when you first take a sip of an espresso. And as I said on our chat last week, I can't say that I'm an expert at the getting flavors, but as I said, I'm probably to the point where I know a good espresso versus a not so good one. But that ashy flavor, or that like ashy, right? That, and you have a sip and you're just like, even if you want the caffeine hit, it's just like I just can't do it, you know. Versus like when you do get a really good espresso. But for me, just, you know, personally, right? I have about I probably have like 3 coffees a day, but if you think about it, they're not like I'm only having like 200 mils per Black Condor, right? So it's not like massive coffee, but if I have an espresso, right, that can make or break if I want to have another one, for sure. Like the Black Condor, I know for a fact that if I have one, I'll have two, and then I'll probably have a third, depending on the day.
Yeah.
But the espresso, if I'm on espressos, it's like it actually depends on how good the espresso is. If that makes sense. Yeah. But,
yeah, absolutely. That Black Condor is really good as espresso as well. It's a really nice, smooth one. It just, this Yirgacheffe today it's one of those where you take a drink and you kind of look at the cup, like, what did I grab? You know, did I grab the wrong thing? Or you almost forget. To me, it's like it makes you almost forget what you were drinking for a second, and it kind of shocks you. It's cool. It's cool. It's just cool to me. It's cool to me to discover these things, and then with traveling, just trying everybody's espressos out. And again, there's a lot of good stuff out there, but when it's bad, man, it's bad, and it's just unpalatable. It's rough.
Yeah,
it makes it rough.
I wonder if there's just because I'm on the road a lot, like, you know, like we're heading back to Australia in June, but I'm sure that I'll be back and forth a bit for some races next year. I wonder if there's a travel espresso, like a really small espresso machine.
I have one that is it's manual, so you just press down on it, and you can dial that in as well, and it fits in a little case. I'll send you the link. I think I might have sent you the link.
I think you did ages ago.
Yeah, and it had a little grinder. I got a little grinder with it too, man. It's pretty cool. I have it at the tattoo shop.
Oh man, that'd be good, because well, the only thing is like I think I told you last week that Georgie's on the coffee bandwagon now, just thanks to you, by the way. So we bought her a grinder, we bought her a V60, and she's got the whole pour over set up now, just in case if we go different ways. So we're just gonna have our bags full of coffee and Puma racing shoes.
That's it, huh? That's it.
That's
All.
it.
That's all you need.
That's all you need.
When you do this, so you've got, I think it's 2 weeks, right? 16 days or something like that from Worlds. Is that about right?
Yeah, 16 days. Yeah.
Do you start with like the physical taper, the exercise taper? Do you do any kind of food taper? Like, do you start cutting anything out, or do you start adding anything on like certain days or a certain time out?
That's actually interesting you bring up, because Anthony and I spoke about nutrition a couple of weeks ago. To answer your question, no, because I don't need to, because I'm so kind of dialed into like very nutritious food in the first place. The first thing that I'll say about that is, like, I was going to say for me, but I think for anyone who's racing Hyrox, like, and is dialed in with their food, like, you've got to realize that food is fuel. I don't, not all the time, but like, I look at whatever I'm about to eat as fuel as opposed to like whatever I'm eating. And like what that means to me is like if I want to be if I want to be a Ferrari today, which everyone wants to be a Ferrari, I need to put that I need to put the best fuel in my Ferrari as you know, the petrol has to be like as well nourished as possible, so to speak, right? Yada yada yada. So I'm doing that on a daily and making sure that it's tipped, it's optimal, and I've got the right amount to go, to absolutely go day in day out. If it goes down to, if my fuel level goes down to 60, 50, then we're having a hard time on my second threshold session, right? But that's the way I view it. Leading into the race though, so 16 days, nothing will change from my end until maybe 4 days out. And that will just be, the change will be just adding a little bit more carbohydrates every day. And when I say a little bit more, it's probably only going to be like 200 grams each day more. Like, again, that's a lot, but it's not like, it's not like a proper carb load, like a huge carb load. It's just adding, you know, carbs on the Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, and that's me. Yeah, there's theory behind like dropping calories, like just pure intake 2 weeks, 3 weeks out, so that your body gets used to trying to deal and navigate your day-to-day and train with limited carbs, or limited intake, to then go bang and hit it with a lot more the week of, so you're feeling like your body just thrives off double the intake. But I'll be honest, due to the fact that I haven't done that before, I'm not going to do that before Worlds. Like, I haven't trialed doing that myself, and it's a bit of a touchy subject, that one, because what that is pretty much like going, all right, I'm going to be in a deficit, like a proper deficit, with my close to my most important 2 weeks of training, to then potentially let my performance suffer, right? So I know for a fact triathletes have done it. I know for a fact that CrossFitters do it, but I'm not doing it just before Worlds, just because I haven't done it before. But that's another way to look at it.
Yeah.
But everyone's different, mate. Like, I think the most important thing to kind of bring up is that everyone's different with their nutrition, and so you should be. And I say to my athletes like yourself, like, yeah, there's kind of, you should take the knowledge and understanding that you can receive, and take it in and be your own best experiment with it. Trial what works for you, and trial how many calories or carbs works for you before a workout and after a workout, or a day-to-day operation. Like, there's no one best way to fuel yourself, let's just say.
Yeah. Have you ever tried like a keto diet or a carnivore diet or anything like that?
Mate, when I was 21, I was pretty, and I was running like marathons when I was 21. Like, I ran like 6 marathons in 18 months. And I don't know how I did it, but I was not on a proper keto, because I would let myself have carbs when needed, like before a race, but I was living a pretty thorough, like high fat, high carb, high fat, high protein diet with minimal carb on a day to day. And I don't know how I did it, because I was training for marathons. So I was running 60, 70, 80 miles per week. I got so lean, like so lean. Um, but I think, yeah, I think now I've learnt that my body needs the carbs. If I need the intensity in my day, like in my workouts as well, if I need the intensity rather than, zone 2 and aerobic work all the time, that's where the carbs help me. But have you done keto before?
Yeah, we did. My wife, she ended up getting gestational diabetes when she had our kids. When she had both of our kids, she got it, and then it went away. And then she got type 2 diabetes. That came on, I don't know, maybe a year or so after, and then it went away again. And then because my wife is very healthy, like she's not, she doesn't she doesn't eat potato chips and sit around and watch TV all day at all, man. So it was a real bummer. Well, then it came back as type 1. So now she's a type 1 diabetic. And just in trying everything and trying to get her blood sugars under control, that was one thing that we did. We tried the keto diet, and we both did really well with it. I felt like we did really well with it, and that was towards the end of me doing triathlons, so doing like Ironman and all that. And I was pretty much just on a keto diet, and I really liked it. I did I did the LA marathon with a pound of bacon in my pocket. I just ran and I just eat bacon throughout the race.
Wow.
Or throughout the run, I guess. And it worked out. I've learned. I did carnivore for about a month just to kind of like a restart. But after about 3 or 4 weeks, I just started kind of losing it a little bit, and I noticed I hit a mega wall, like super wall. And I just came home and I told my wife, I was like, that's it. I'm done with that diet right now. And as the years go on, I'll probably do it again. And I kind of come in and out of it. But I'd say since I started talking with you, and just listening to what you've had to say, listening to what Hunter has to say, listening to Rich, and just kind of taking bits and pieces here and there. I reached out to Luca, a few right before the DECA, because he was talking about honey, and I always eat honey. That's like my main thing the last couple of years. So that's why I was asking about your food taper is just keeping everything regular. So I figured with honey, that's what my body's used to that. So I'm not introducing a new fuel source the morning of that's going to upset my stomach or something.
Correct. Yeah.
But before the last DECA fit, that was the first time I ate before a race. I never eat. I never wake up and eat before I work out or anything. And so I ate before that, had my best race. And then Hyrox Sunday, I had some food on the way down there, just ate a couple peanut butter and jelly sandwiches and friggin' went to work. Felt great.
Yeah. Yeah. And like, did you feel good out there? Like, in terms of, we'll get into the obviously race, but in terms of like your fuel and your intake beforehand with those peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, did you feel as if you had the energy to go?
Yeah. And I had I had a little pack of Scratch Labs makes these chews, so I just had a pack of those as well, and that was
That's
it.
good. Nice.
Yeah, man. Yeah, felt really good. Just made sure I drank a bunch of water, went to the bathroom, all that stuff, and
Yeah.
I felt good.
Yeah.
Felt really good.
Yeah. And mate, how was the event? How was the race?
The race was, so I gave myself I was shooting for 72 minutes. And so I was giving myself 9 minutes from, like I said, from the start of a run till the end of the station. And then, you know, figuring farmer's carry, stuff like that, I'm going to make up time. And I had it right on. I had it dialed. I had it right on schedule. And then I got to the burpee broad jumps, and I still had, I think, my fastest burpee broad jump time, but just kind of backtracked a little bit, like 30 seconds, and then everything else was really good. The row, I was right around 350. And then sled push, I had a really good sled push. I had a good sled pull, just kept everything moving, kept everything just going smooth. Everything. Farmer's carry, I did set it down like 2 times. I set the friggin' kettlebells down 2 times, and I was kind of bummed about that. The lunges went well. I didn't, the only time I stopped on those was just on the turnarounds, you know, at the end of the lanes.
Yeah.
And I did the step up, tap my foot, go again. And just as much as like there'd be a guy going by me, and as much as I wanted to chase after him, I just kept that. And then I would end up passing them. And so basically just staying within myself, or what I thought the pace was that I needed to do. And I got to burpee broad jumps and had friggin' Matt Davis yelling at me and shit. He ran out on the course.
That would have been so annoying, mate. I would have got in my head about that.
So then I got to wall balls, and there wasn't a judge for me. So I ran and picked up my ball, and I just started going. There was a judge next to me that was counting, but I just started counting out loud, like 1, 2, so everybody around me could hear me. And then my judge came over, and I was at 30. I was at 30, and he goes 22, and I go, no way, dude. And I said, I've been going over here since before you got here. And anyways, so then I went and I got up to 50, and he goes, he goes 42. And I was like, dude, I said, man, I promise I'm counting to you. And he wasn't giving me any no reps. And so then I just started counting out loud the rest of the way, and we were on the same page, and it ended up well. And it wasn't, you know, I'm not trying to say anything about anybody, the judges or anybody. It was, I just figured, since nobody, what was I supposed to do? I wasn't going to just stand there and wait for somebody. So,
but mate, I'll be honest with you, as much as we won't veer down this track, but that kills me. That kills me that they didn't have the right, I don't know, like the right structure, or like they didn't have the people there to just judge.
I think it was, honestly, I think it was just some kind of a miscommunication. And I think once they saw me going, the guy ran over. But it's definitely the first time I've ever seen that at Hyrox.
Yeah.
So I definitely don't want to bash anybody. And
and like I'll say, like, sorry to say this, I hope you were the only one on the day that had that happen, right? Like, and I'm sorry that you were that one, but let's just say, like, I'm hoping that you were the only one. Just on that note, like, I've always believed that just because I've been racing in the elite and the majors and stuff, so I've always got eyes on me. Doesn't mean like anyone in the open category or the doubles category shouldn't be kept to standard. And I think that's actually one of the things that they should be trying to look at, because and look, I understand that it's to do with resources. It's to do with actually having people on the ground to judge, and sometimes during the whole day or whole 2-day event, they might not have the right resources. But I think just because us elite are elite or whatever doesn't mean like anyone else shouldn't be kept to their standards. And I'm saying that in the right way, because you're trying to improve. You're on this Hyrox journey or fitness journey as much as anyone, right? You get a race on the weekend and potentially not a judge at the Warbles, and then your next race, who's to say that there are going to be like really harsh and really really hard on you, not necessarily just at the Warbles, but they change the whole they change it on you and your experience of completing that race, because they're trying to keep everything to standard. So what I'm saying is like it's kind of contradicting race versus race, but that's all I'll say about that. I think like obviously like I've been programming for you. Well, I think it was since October. Was it October or November?
At least November for sure. At least November for sure.
Yeah. And like you've been very consistent, mate, with your training and whatnot. And I personally think the best thing that you said to me like after the race on Sunday was that you felt as if you had more to give.
Yeah.
Which is again a learning curve, right? It's like you probably tried to like you probably tried to just go out there and be consistent across the whole workout, which is like probably is the best thing to do, because you've heard me and you've heard other people saying that like ego races at the start and there's no point going out too hot, etc. But the consistency of the race and for an athlete is important. And what that means to me is like and Bo Wills actually spoke to me about this like maybe a year ago, about like the importance on just being right from the get-go, you're just shy of threshold and you're just shy of threshold the whole way through, right? Mm-hmm. And that's what we're trying to do, right? Like everyone, right? Because if you're tipping over that threshold line, let's just call it, it's going to deteriorate your performance down the track and so on and so forth. So what I'm trying to get at is that you understand from the weekend what you did, and you can learn that maybe like there's parts of the race that you could probably say tactically you could tell yourself to go a little bit harder. Maybe like things such as like after that row. I personally always like have said this to athletes: it's before the row and then after the row, 2 races. And if you're feeling okay after that row, then you should be putting the foot down. So yeah, mate, and it's a bit of a shame that you think your next race won't be till December. Is that correct?
Well, we'll see. We'll see what they announce. Hopefully, they'll announce some other races over here on the West Coast, but that, to my knowledge, that's the only one that'll be over here.
Yeah.
the rest of the year. But yeah, we'll see. I mean, like you said with the threshold, I think that I need to do another threshold test. I think that because I mean I had a 3-minute PR, and you know I'm down I'm down almost over a half hour from my first one. And so it's, yeah, I think, yeah, we'll get that dialed in. We'll get the threshold dialed in. And it's weird, right? When you say the race went to plan, or I tell myself, or I say that to you, like, yeah, the race went exactly how we hoped it would go, how we planned it. But
Yeah.
it just so happened that I had more juice than we realized. But yeah, we'll cut that down. Definitely attack the runs a little bit more. My good training partner Leo, he had a really big PR and he ran faster than me. And
Okay.
that's it.
Yeah.
And so now we know. But yeah, it was overall the actual race, the event, the venue, and everything. It was the biggest one so far, I think, in America as far as Hyrox goes, and especially in California.
Yeah.
There was more than double what the last one was, so that's good to see.
Yeah.
And there was
awesome.
Just before I get off Anaheim, I did put up a post about this guy named Steve, man, and he was out there. It turned out that he has, it's called Guillain-Barré syndrome, which is a form of MS. And
Yeah. I've
so
heard of it.
I caught him on the farmer's carry, or I was watching the race and I saw him on the farmer's carry when I turned. And I don't know if Yusuf, the race director, comes over there to Europe, but he does our races over here. And then Crystal Salas, I hope I'm saying her name right. She was carrying his crutches. He had the crutches that have like the braces on his arms, you know?
Oh, wow.
And Yusuf was behind him on the farmer's carry. So his legs could give out basically at any time. And so he did the whole race. And to me, it was the most beautiful thing that I saw over there. And it just puts, I've heard you say it, like, these things, you know, at the end of the day, you're going to go home to your family. At the end of the day, it's your family, that, you know, the love from your friends and all these things. But really, it is doing these things because we can, and because, you know, I feel like we should be challenging ourselves. And that man was out there. I don't know, man. It was, like I said, it was the most beautiful thing, the most inspirational thing, the most motivating thing that I saw all day. You know, there was no pro that was going to top that. There was nothing.
Yeah.
And I guess he had reached out. To Hyrox before the race and asked if they had an adaptive.
Yeah.
I don't know. Basically, could he do the race without getting in the way? And
Yeah.
And that's what they did. They had Yusuf go around with them. They had Crystal go around with them, and they had these judges go around with them, and they made it happen. And
Yeah.
so I
think I think what you're saying there as well, it puts your life into perspective, right? Like,
oh yeah,
when you see someone like that getting after it, like it, and I've seen it before as well. You kind of, well, I do, and you had that moment on the weekend. You're like, what what can I like complain about?
right.
Like, what what am I like? I don't know, being negative about, even on a day to day as well, not just about the race. Like, and it's so great that Hyrox can allow people like him, and I've seen it over in Europe as well. A lot of athletes who are, you know, struggling more so than, you know, the normal, like, can get after it. And yeah, as I kind of just said, it just, to me, it just puts your life into perspective, mate. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. There's, you know, I always train like tomorrow I'm going to be injured and I'm not going to be able to run. I'm not going to be able to do these things. And, one time, and I was thinking about this earlier today too. My friend James, I've only had two coaches in my life since I started like training, and they're both, it's you, James, and then my other friend James, that was my good
That's funny.
friend, which is crazy. But
Yeah.
and James was high level triathlete, ultra runner, all these things. But we got hit when we were training. We got hit on our bicycles down by San Diego, and when I woke up, I couldn't move my legs. So my I guess your body goes into like this protective mode, and so it's like your body doesn't want you to move so you don't damage your spine, something along those lines. But anyways, when I realized this, I crawled. I had to I had to dig my hands into the road to crawl off the road to go get over to my friend James, who he was all broken up, um and it was a weird moment of like, oh, I mean, who knows how it would have felt later on in the day, but uh I don't know, just knowing that you've done everything that you could do. You didn't waste a day, and now you're fucking paralyzed,
Yeah.
and
That's crazy, mate. That's like, yeah. I get where you like. I get what you're saying there. Like in that moment, you're just like, shit. Like like this could be it, or like shit. Like that might have been my last ride, or like,
yeah,
and
yeah,
I try to like, mate. I try to think like that. Like this could be the last day that I can ever go for a run. Touch wood, and yeah, it's a really like, I think being grateful, as much as like there's such a like movement of kind of like being very mindful, which I'll be the first to say, in my opinion, there's pros and cons of it. Yeah, like being grateful of what you have is so important, especially when we're doing this type of activity and training. And mate, I've got a what do I have? I've got a long run in a second, and yeah, you've got me into a bit of a grateful moment now. So thank you for that.
yeah. No, that's good.
But yeah, mate, I'm actually going to have to run.
Yeah, do it.
But thanks for the chat once again, and congrats on the weekend.
Yeah, thank you for all your help. It's um as much as I wanted to do more, say on Friday or Saturday, it was like, nope, I'm doing what he sent me, and we're gonna make this happen. But yeah, thank you, and go get it, and we'll see how you feel next week. If you want to get on another one before you go
Yeah,
to
man,
Worlds.
for sure. We'll get another one next week. I don't go to Nice till the Sunday before Worlds, so not this Sunday, but next Sunday. So we'll definitely have another chat.
Okay, I thought you were going to. Are you going to Germany before?
No. So Georgie's going to Paris to meet
Oh, okay.
her family, but I'm going straight to Nice.
Okay.
So that's the reason why we had to get her the grinder and the V60, because I wasn't going to let her steal mine.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you guys have enough coffee right now? You get you through
Yeah,
that?
we're good. Thank you, mate.
Okay.
Always. And without send me that little espresso machine.
Okay. Yeah, I'll get